Maggie Brennan knew three truths the day she died. First, the Apache warrior's blood soaking into her hands was still warm. Second, the child growing in her belly was his. The man she'd once called savage. The man she'd tried to kill, the man who'd whispered again and again, until love took root where only hatred grew. And third, she would spend the rest of her life making sure their son remembered the warrior who'd shown her that love wasn't gentle, it was fierce, it was brutal, and it was the only thing worth dying for. Subscribe now. Follow this story to the end. Comment below with your city. Let me see how far our story travels. The Santa Fe Trail, 1873. Maggie Brennan's pencil broke against the journal page. Third time that hour. She stared at the jagged lead, then at the words she'd written. Father always said the West would save us. He was wrong. It killed him instead. You all right, Miss Maggie? She looked up. Samuel Porter, the wagon master, stood with his hat in his hands. 50 years old, weathered face, kind eyes. He'd buried her stepfather 2 days back after a wagon wheel crushed his chest. I'm fine, Mr. Porter. You ain't fine. Nobody's fine after what you've been through. Maggie closed the journal. Her mother sat 3 wagons back with her new husband's brother, weeping into a handkerchief that would never get clean again. They'd been 2 weeks on the trail. 7 families. 32 people. All chasing the same lie that land and freedom waited somewhere past the horizon. We'll reach Fort Union by week's end, Porter said. Army'll see you safe to Santa Fe. You got kin there? No, sir. Then what? The arrow took him through the throat. Porter dropped without a sound. His hat hit the dust first, then his knees, then his face. Blood pooled black in the dirt. Maggie didn't scream. She grabbed the rifle from under the wagon seat. They came from the ridgeline like shadows given form, 20, maybe 30 riders. Faces painted red and white hair loose in the wind. The Apache. The stories white folks told to scare children. Except they were real, and they were here, and Maggie Brennan had about 15 seconds to decide if she wanted to die begging or die fighting. She chose fighting. The rifle kicked hard against her shoulder, missed, fired again. A rider's horse stumbled. Third, shot, the hammer clicked empty. Damn it! Rough hands yanked her backward. She hit the ground hard, tasted blood and dust. Someone screamed, her mother maybe. Gunfire cracked like breaking bones. The world turned to chaos. Horses shrieking, men shouting, women pleading, children crying. And underneath it all, that sound, that war cry, that would haunt her dreams for the rest of her life. Maggie rolled, grabbed a rock, swung it at the nearest brown leg. Felt it connect. A grunt. Then a hand in her hair, dragging her up, and she was staring into eyes so dark they looked black, set in a face painted with white stripes across the cheekbones. He said something in a language that sounded like wind through canyon rocks. Maggie spat blood at him. Go to hell. He smiled. Not cruel, not kind, just interested. Around them the attack ended as fast as it started. The men who'd fought lay dead or dying. The women huddled together, children clutched to their chests. Maggie's mother knelt in the dirt keening, and Maggie wanted to go to her, but the hands holding her wouldn't let go. The warrior who'd caught her said something to another man, older, scarred, wearing a single eagle feather in his hair. That one looked Maggie up and down like she was a horse he might buy. No, she said. No, you can't. The older one spoke. His English was rough but clear. You fight. Not run, not cry. You fight. Damn right I fight. Good. He nodded once. You come. Like hell I... He turned and walked toward his horse. The younger warrior dragged Maggie after him. She kicked, bit, clawed. Got an elbow in the ribs for it. Then she was thrown over a horse's back, wrists bound with leather cord that cut into her skin, the world upside down and bouncing as they rode south. Behind them the wagon train burned. Maggie twisted enough to see the smoke rising black against the blue sky. Her mother was somewhere in that smoke. Dead or alive, Maggie didn't know. Would never know. The Apache rode hard for 3 days. They stopped only to water the horses and switch riders. Maggie got water twice, jerky once. No one spoke to her. The younger warrior, the one who'd caught her, stayed close, but never touched her except to haul her onto a horse when they moved. His face gave away nothing. On the 3rd night, they reached the camp. It sat in a canyon where the red rock walls rose up like cathedral spires, and the mesquite trees grew thick enough to hide 100 lodges. Smoke from cook fires drifted up toward stars that looked close enough to touch. Dogs barked. Children ran between the lodges. Women stopped their work to stare. Maggie tried to stand tall, but her legs shook. She'd pissed herself on day 2. Hadn't eaten in 30 hours. Her dress was torn, her hair loose and wild. She looked like exactly what she was, a white girl who'd just lost everything. An old woman approached. Gray hair in 2 braids, face like carved wood eyes that missed nothing. She said something sharp in Apache. The younger warrior answered. The old woman's eyes narrowed. She reached out and grabbed Maggie's chin, turned her head left and right, studying her. Then she said in slow, deliberate English, "You are Irish." Maggie blinked. "Yes, ma'am." "Irish fight. Irish survive. Apache respect this." She released Maggie's chin. "Maybe you live. Maybe you die. We see." "Who are you?" "I am Nakita, medicine woman, mother to Tahan." "Tahan?" The old woman pointed at the younger warrior. "Him. My son. He bring you here. Now he decide what happened to you." Maggie looked at Tahan. He stood with his arms crossed, face unreadable, and she realized with a cold shock that her entire future depended on whatever was happening behind those black eyes. "What does he want with me?" Nakita smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. "That is question, yes. Come, you eat, you wash. Then we see." They took her to a lodge, animal hides stretched over bent poles, floor covered in furs. A girl about 16 brought a bowl of something that smelled like meat and corn. Maggie's stomach cramped with hunger, but she didn't touch it. The girl said something in Apache. Maggie shook her head. The girl tried again, slower, and Maggie caught one word, "Eat." "I'm not hungry." A lie. She was starving. But if she ate their food, if she took anything from them, it felt like surrender. And Maggie Brennan had been raised by an Irish railroad man who'd taught her that you never ever surrender. Even when you're dying, you spit in death's eye and tell him to wait his turn. The girl left. Maggie sat in the dark listening to the camp sounds outside. Drums started up low and rhythmic. Voices rose in song. Somewhere a baby cried. She pressed her hands to her face and tried not to think about her mother. Tried not to see Porter's face as the arrow took him. Tried not to remember the smell of the burning wagons. Failed on all counts. The lodge flap opened. Tahan ducked inside. Maggie scrambled back, grabbed the bowl, held it like a weapon. "Stay away from me." He stopped, looked at the bowl, then at her face. He said something in Apache, a question maybe. "I don't understand you." He switched to English. His accent was thick, but his words were clear. "You will eat." "No." "You will die." "Then I'll die." "Why?" The question caught her off guard. "Why?" Because eating meant living, and living meant accepting this, and she couldn't accept this. Couldn't accept that her life had just been ripped apart by men who spoke a language she didn't understand, for reasons she couldn't fathom. "Because you killed them," she said. Her voice cracked. "You killed Porter and the others. You burned the wagons, you took me, and I don't know why, I don't know what you want, and I won't just... I want you alive." "Why?" Tahan crouched down eye level with her. His face was still painted white stripes stark against bronze skin. "You fight. Not cry. Not beg. You fight. This is Apache way. This is good way. I'm not Apache. No. But you can learn." "I don't want to learn. I want to go home." "Home is gone." The words hit like a fist. Maggie's throat closed up. She thought she might be sick. Tahan reached out slowly, carefully, like she was a wild animal that might bolt. He took the bowl from her hands, scooped up some of the stew with his fingers, ate it. Then he offered it back to her. See, not poison, just food. You eat, you live. We talk tomorrow. He set the bowl on the ground between them and stood. At the lodge entrance he paused. My name is Tahan, means daybreak. You should know name of man who saved your life. You didn't save my life, you destroyed it. Maybe, but you are still breathing, so I saved something. He ducked out of the lodge. Maggie sat in the darkness for a long time. Then, hating herself, she picked up the bowl and ate. The next morning they dragged her out into the center of camp. The sun was barely up, the sky still gray. Every person in the tribe seemed to be there, men, women, children, elders. They formed a circle. Maggie stood in the middle with Tahan on one side and Nakita on the other. An old man with white hair and a face like sun-dried leather spoke for a long time in Apache. Maggie understood nothing except the tone: angry, suspicious, afraid. When he finished, others spoke. A woman with a scar across her cheek. A young man covered in warrior paint. A girl, the same one who'd brought food last night, who looked at Maggie with open hatred. Then Tahan spoke. His voice carried across the canyon, strong and steady. He gestured to Maggie, to the sky, to his own chest. Whatever he was saying, it was making people uncomfortable. Some nodded. Others shook their heads. The scarred woman spat in the dirt. When Tahan finished, the old man asked him something. A question. Direct. Tahan's answer was one word. Final. The old man sighed. Then he said in slow English for Maggie's benefit. Tahan is chief of this band. His father before him was chief. We follow his words. He say you are gift from spirits. He say you will be his wife. This is his decision. Maggie's heart stopped. What? Tahan turned to her. You are my wife now. No, I'm your prisoner. You are here by will of spirits. My people need sign. White men take our land, our children, our water, kill our warriors, push us into mountains. Now spirits send me one of them to bind together, make bridge between red and white, between war and peace. I'm not a bridge, I'm a person. Yes, and you are strong person. This is why spirits choose you. The hatred girl pushed forward. She was small but fierce, with black hair in 2 braids and murder in her eyes. She pointed at Maggie and unleashed a stream of Apache that needed no translation. Tahan answered calmly. The girl shouted back. Other voices joined in, agreeing, arguing. The camp erupted into chaos. Nakita raised one hand. Silence fell. She spoke quietly, but every word carried weight. When she finished, she looked at Maggie and said in English, Girl is called Desba. Means going to war. She want to marry Tahan. She think you are weak. She think you will betray us. She challenge you. Challenge me to what? To prove you are worthy. Maggie looked at Desba. The girl was maybe 19, lean and hard as rawhide. She had a knife on her belt and the look of someone who knew how to use it. I can't fight her. Then you will die, and Tahan will choose another. Desba will be happy. Problem solved. That's insane. Nakita shrugged. This is Apache way. You want to live, you fight. You want to be wife, you prove worth. Or you can say no, and we will kill you now. Your choice. Maggie looked around the circle. Every face was watching her. Waiting. Judging. She thought about her father dead under a wagon wheel. Her mother probably dead in the burned wagons. Porter with an arrow through his throat. Everything she'd ever known gone in fire and blood. And she thought, if I'm going to die anyway, I'm dying on my feet. Fine, she said. I'll fight. Desba smiled. It was not a nice smile. They gave Maggie a knife. It was small, the blade maybe 4 inches long, the handle wrapped in leather. Desba had her own knife, bigger, with a bone handle worn smooth from use. The circle widened. Someone beat a drum, slow, steady, like a heartbeat. Desba spoke in Apache. Nakita translated. She say you are soft, like white bread, easy to cut. Tell her, Maggie said, that Irish girls don't cut easy. Nakita's eyes glinted. She translated. Desba laughed. Then she attacked. Fast. So fast Maggie barely got her knife up in time. The blades met with a screech of metal. Desba twisted, slashed low. Maggie jumped back. Her heel caught on a rock. She stumbled. Desba was on her instantly. They went down in the dust. Desba on top, knife coming down toward Maggie's throat. Maggie caught her wrist with both hands. Held it. Desba was stronger than she looked. You die now, white girl. Not yet. Maggie bucked her hips, threw Desba off balance. They rolled. Maggie ended up on top. She still had Desba's knife wrist locked. With her other hand, she punched Desba in the face. The crowd roared. Desba's head snapped back. Blood poured from her nose. But she didn't let go of the knife. Instead, she brought her knee up hard into Maggie's ribs. Air left Maggie's lungs in a rush. She rolled away gasping, tasted blood. Desba was already on her feet, circling. You fight better than I think, Desba said in broken English, but not good enough. She feinted left, struck right. The blade opened a line across Maggie's forearm. Hot pain. Red blood. Maggie didn't think. She lunged forward inside Desba's guard, drove her shoulder into the girl's chest. They crashed to the ground again. This time, Maggie got her knife against Desba's throat. She pressed just enough to draw a bead of blood. The drum stopped. Silence. Maggie's hand shook. She'd never killed anyone, never even thought about it. But right now, with this girl beneath her, with the whole tribe watching, she understood that mercy was weakness here. Weakness was death. I could kill you, Maggie said. Her voice came out steady, surprised her. But I won't, because I'm not here to make enemies. I'm just trying to survive. She took the knife away from Desba's throat, stood up, offered her hand. Desba stared at it, then at Maggie's face. Something shifted in her expression, respect maybe, or just surprise. She took the hand. Let Maggie pull her up. The tribe erupted in noise, shouting, arguing, some cheering. The old man raised his hand for silence. He spoke to Tahan. Tahan answered. The old man nodded. Nakita stepped forward. You pass test. You are strong enough to be wife of chief. Ceremony will be tonight. Wait. What tonight? Apache, do not wait. Life is short. Love is shorter. War is coming. We do not waste time. Maggie looked at Tahan. He watched her with that same unreadable expression. Do I get a choice? She asked. You already make choice, Nakita said. You fight to live. That is yes. They took her to the river to wash. The water ran cold and clear over smooth stones. Nakita and two other women stripped Maggie's torn dress off, burned it in a small fire. She stood naked in the shallows while they scrubbed her skin with sand and yucca root until she was pink and raw. One of the women, younger, maybe 30, said something in Apache. The others laughed. What did she say? Nakita smiled. She say you have good hips, make strong babies. Maggie's face burned. I'm not making babies with anyone. You are wife now, babies come. This is way of things. No, this is wrong. I don't love him. I don't even know him. Love? Nakita tilted her head. White people think love come first, then marriage. Apache know truth. Marriage come first, then respect, then trust. Love is last. Love is gift that grow from respect and trust. Like tree. You do not start with tree, you start with seed. I didn't ask for any of this. No one asks for life they get. But you are here, you are alive. You can be alive and angry, or alive and open. Your choice. Choose angry, you will be miserable. Choose open, maybe you find something good. The women dressed her in soft deerskin, white decorated with blue beads, in patterns that meant nothing to Maggie. They braided her hair with eagle feathers, painted her face with ochre and white clay. By the time they finished, she looked like someone else, felt like someone else. At sunset, they led her back to the center of camp. The whole tribe had gathered. A fire burned high, throwing shadows on the canyon walls. Drums beat slow and deep. Voices rose in song. Tahan stood waiting. He wore no shirt, just leather pants and moccasins. His hair was loose, hanging to his shoulders. Someone had painted symbols on his chest lines and circles that meant things Maggie didn't understand. He looked at her as she approached. His expression shifted just for a moment. Surprise. Maybe something else. "You are beautiful," he said quietly. Maggie didn't answer. Couldn't. The old man stepped forward. He spoke in Apache, long-flowing sentences. Tahan answered. The old man nodded, turned to Maggie, asked her something. Nakita translated. He asked if you take Tahan as husband. If you will honor him, stand beside him, bear his children, and die with his name on your lips. And if I say no, then you die with his name on your lips anyway, just sooner. Maggie looked at Tahan. He held her gaze steady. No threat in his eyes, no demand, just waiting. She thought about the life she'd had, the life she'd lost, the life she might have now if she could just find the courage to reach for it. Yes, she said. I take him. The old man smiled. He took their hands, pressed them together, spoke a blessing. Then he stepped back. Tahan reached up, unclasped something from around his neck. A pendant smooth stone carved into the shape of an eagle in flight. He placed it around Maggie's neck. This is mark of my family, he said softly. My father wore it. His father before him. Now you wear it. You are mine. I am yours. Until sky fall and earth break, we are one. Maggie's hand closed around the pendant. It was warm from his skin. The tribe erupted in celebration, singing, dancing, drums thundering. Tahan took Maggie's hand and led her through the crowd to his lodge. Inside, it was warm. A fire burned low in the center pit. Furs covered the floor. He closed the flap behind them. They stood facing each other. You do not have to fear me, Tahan said. I will not hurt you. You already hurt me. You destroyed my life. No, I save your life. Your old life that was already destroyed. I give you new one. I didn't want a new one. Nobody want change. Change is pain. But change is also how we survive. My people, we change or we die. You change or you die. This is truth. He moved closer. Maggie didn't back away. I will teach you our ways, he said. You will teach me yours. We will learn together, and maybe in time you will not hate me so much. I don't hate you. The words surprised her, but they were true. She didn't hate him. She was angry, terrified, grieving, but hatred, no. He was just a man trying to survive in a world that wanted him dead. Same as her. Tahan reached out, touched her face with one rough hand. You are braver than you know, Maggie Brennan. How do you know my name? I listen. I watch. I learn. He smiled slightly. Also, you tell Desba your name when you fight. You say, my name is Maggie Brennan, and I do not die easy. This is good name. Strong name. Despite everything, Maggie almost smiled. Glad you approve. I do. His thumb brushed her cheek. Now, you are tired. You sleep. We talk more tomorrow. That's it. We're not. Not tonight. Tonight you need rest. Need time. I am not Monster Maggie. I am just man who want to do right thing. Even if right thing is hard thing. He moved to the other side of the lodge, laid down on the furs, and closed his eyes. Maggie stood there for a long moment. Then she laid down on her side of the fire and stared at the smoke curling up through the hole in the roof. Outside, the drums still beat. The tribe still celebrated. But inside this lodge, there was only silence and the crackling of the fire and two people trying to figure out how to survive what came next. Maggie touched the eagle pendant at her throat, felt its weight, its warmth. Somewhere in the darkness, Tahan said, "Sleep well, wife." And for the first time since the wagon train burned, Maggie closed her eyes and slept without dreaming. Morning came with the smell of smoke and frying meat. Maggie woke to an empty lodge and her whole body aching like she'd been trampled by horses. She sat up, every muscle screaming protest. The deerskin dress they'd given her was twisted around her legs. Her hair had come loose from the braids. The eagle pendant lay heavy against her chest. She touched it, remembered last night, the ceremony, the fire, Tahan's hand in hers. "You are mine, I am yours." Her stomach churned. She'd married an Apache warrior. Actually married him, in front of his whole tribe. What the hell was wrong with her? The lodge flap opened. Nakita entered carrying a wooden bowl and a blanket. "You wake, good, eat this." Maggie took the bowl, some kind of porridge with berries. Her stomach growled despite herself. "Where's Tahan?" "With warriors. They hunt deer in North Canyon. He come back tonight." The old woman sat down across from her. "You sleep well?" "Not really." "This is normal. First night in strange place, strange bed, strange husband. Your head say run. Your heart say stay. They fight each other, make you tired." "My heart's not saying anything." Nakita smiled. "Not yet, but it will. Heart always speak. Question is, will you listen?" Maggie ate the porridge. It was better than she wanted to admit. When she finished, Nakita stood. "Come, I teach you work. You are wife now. Wife work." "I know how to work." "You know white woman work. Now you learn Apache woman work. Very different." The next 6 hours were hell. Nakita put her to grinding corn on a stone slab. Just corn and stone, and endless grinding until Maggie's shoulders burned and her hands bled. Every time she slowed down, the old woman barked at her in Apache. When Maggie tried to take a break, Nakita dumped the cornmeal in the dirt and made her start over. Again. "My hands are bleeding." "Then bleed faster." Apache women do not stop for blood. By midday, Maggie's palms were raw meat. She wanted to cry, wanted to throw the grinding stone at the old woman's head, wanted to run screaming into the desert. She did none of those things. She kept grinding. Other women worked nearby. Some glanced at her with curiosity, others with suspicion. One, the scarred woman from yesterday, spat every time she walked past. Around noon, a group of children ran by, laughing and shrieking. One of them, a little girl maybe 5 years old, stopped and stared at Maggie with huge dark eyes. Maggie tried to smile. "Hello." The girl said something in Apache. Maggie shook her head. The girl tilted her head, studying Maggie like she was a puzzle. Then she reached into a pouch at her waist, pulled out a handful of small white flowers, and held them out. Maggie's throat tightened. She took the flowers. "Thank you." The girl smiled bright as sunrise and ran off after her friends. Nakita grunted. "Little Kiana like you." This is good sign. Children see truth. Adults lie to themselves. What truth does she see? That you have kind heart. Even when you are angry, you have kind heart. This is why Tahan chose you. He didn't choose me. The spirits chose me. Or so he says. Tahan is chief. He do not say things he do not believe. If he say spirits choose you, then spirits choose you. Nakita paused. Or maybe he just want to believe spirits choose you. Because he choose you. And it is easier to say spirits made choice than to say he made choice. Men are like this. Always blame gods for what their heart want. Maggie looked down at the flowers in her bloody hand. White petals already wilting in the heat. I don't belong here. No one belong anywhere until they decide to belong. You think Apache are born knowing how to survive in desert Nubba. We learn. We adapt. We become what we must become. You will too. Or you will die. Your choice. That became the refrain of Maggie's life for the next 3 weeks. Learn or die. Adapt or die. Become or die. Nakita taught her to weave grass mats until her fingers cramped, to tan hides with a mixture that smelled like death, to cook over an open fire without burning the meat, to identify which plants were food and which were poison, to speak. Apache, slowly, painfully, one word at a time. Shash, bear. Goshkan, fire. Ishkin, boy. Ateyed, girl. Ashihi, salt. The women watched her struggle. Some helped when Nakita wasn't looking, showing her the right way to plait yucca leaves or how to hold a knife when cutting hide. Others made it harder, switching her tools when she wasn't looking or laughing when she made mistakes. Desba was the worst. The girl followed Maggie everywhere, criticizing in broken English. You grind too slow. You weave too loose. You walk too loud. You breathe too much. White girl can do nothing right. Maggie ignored her. Mostly. Until the day Desba, accidentally, kicked over the water, Maggie had spent an hour hauling from the river. Maggie stood there watching the water soak into the dust. Then she looked at Desba. Do that again and I'll break your nose. Desba's eyes flashed. You try. I kill you this time. Then try. But stop hiding behind accidents and start acting like the warrior you claim to be. They stood there inches apart, both breathing hard. The other women had stopped working to watch. Even Nakita paused. Then Desba smiled. Maybe you are not so soft after all, white girl. My name is Maggie. I know your name. I just do not care. But something in Desba's voice had changed. Less contempt, more respect. Maybe. After that, Desba still criticized. But she also started teaching, showing Maggie how to tie better knots, how to sharpen a blade properly, how to move through brush without snagging her dress. You will never be Apache, Desba said one afternoon while they gathered firewood. But maybe you can be almost Apache. This is best you can hope for. I'll take it. Tahan returned every night just before sunset. He never touched her beyond taking her hand during meals, never demanded anything, just sat by the fire and talked. He told her about his life, how his father had been chief before him, killed by Mexican soldiers when Tahan was 18. How he'd married young a girl named Niol, who died of smallpox 3 years back, along with their infant daughter. How the white men kept coming, kept taking, kept breaking every promise they made. We signed treaty, he said one night. Fort Bowie, 1869. They promise us land, food, peace. 2 years later, soldiers attack our winter camp. Kill 30 people. 15 were children. His jaw clenched. After that I know truth. There is no peace with white men. Only war. Only survival. So why marry me? Maggie asked. Why bring a white woman into your tribe? Tahan looked at the fire for a long time. Because I am tired of hate, tired of war, tired of watching my people die. Maybe if I can love one white person, then there is hope. Maybe spirits send you to show me that hope is not dead, that there can be bridge between our worlds. That's a lot of pressure to put on one woman. Yes, but you are strong. I see this. Everyone see this. Maggie's throat tightened. I don't feel strong. I feel like I'm drowning and pretending I know how to swim. Then you are exactly like every other person in this camp. He smiled slightly. We all drown. We all pretend. This is how we survive. At night when he slept, Maggie would lie awake and listen to his breathing, study the line of his shoulders in the firelight. Wonder what her mother would say if she could see her now. Wonder if her mother was even alive. Wonder if she was starting to feel something for this man who'd destroyed her life and given her a new one in the same breath. 1 month after the wedding, Desba challenged Maggie to a horse race. They stood at the edge of camp, 2 horses stamping and snorting, the whole tribe gathered to watch. Desba sat her horse like she'd been born in the saddle. Maggie could barely stay on. You will lose. Desba said cheerfully. And everyone will laugh. Probably. But you race anyway. I don't have anything else to do today. Desba grinned. Maybe I like you a little bit now, white girl. Don't get sentimental on me. The race was a disaster. Maggie fell off twice, finished last by a quarter mile, and ended up with bruises on bruises. But she finished, limped across the line with her horse trailing behind her, and when the tribe laughed, she laughed with them. Tahan helped her up. You ride like drunk, man. I've never been on a horse before last month. This explained much. He brushed dirt from her shoulder. But you finish. This is what matter. Apache respect those who finish, even when they finish last. That night, Nakita gave Maggie a salve for the bruises. You learn fast. 3 months ago you would cry about falling. Now you laugh. This is good change. I'm not sure anything about this is good. Good and bad are words white people use. Apache see only what is. You are here. You are alive. You are learning. This is what is. Good or bad, who can say, only time, no truth. 6 weeks in. Maggie woke in the middle of the night to find Tahan gone. She sat up, heart pounding. The fire had burned down to coals. Outside voices shouted in Apache, urgent, angry. She grabbed a blanket and pushed through the lodge flap. The camp was in chaos. Warriors running toward the North Canyon, women grabbing children, dogs barking, someone screamed. Maggie caught Nakita's arm. What's happening? Scout find white men, soldiers, 1 mile north. They come this way. Cold flooded Maggie's chest. How many? 20, maybe more. They look for something. They're looking for me. The thought hit her like a fist. The cavalry had been searching for survivors of the wagon train attack, and now they'd found the camp, found her. I have to go with them, Maggie said. If I turn myself in, they will not stop, Nakita said flatly. They will take you, yes. Then they will come back and kill us anyway. This is what white soldiers do. But, no, you are Apache now. We protect our own. Tahan appeared out of the darkness, bow in hand, face painted for war. He saw Maggie and stopped. Get inside. Stay there. Tahan, if they're looking for me, they are looking for Apache to kill. You are just excuse. He gripped her shoulders. Listen to me. No matter what happened tonight, you stay in lodge. You hear fighting, you hide. Soldiers find you. You do not tell them who you are. You say you are captive. You say we force you to stay. You understand? I'm not going to lie. You will if it keep you alive. His eyes burned. Promise me. Tahan. Promise me, Maggie. She'd never heard her name in his mouth sound like that before. Desperate, afraid. I promise. He kissed her forehead, quick, hard, and then he was gone, running toward the North Canyon with the other warriors. Maggie stood there, blanket clutched around her shoulders, watching the men disappear into darkness. Around her, women herded children into hiding spots, caves, thick brush, anywhere the soldiers might not look. Desba grabbed Maggie's arm. Come, we go to East Ridge. Safe there. I'm not hiding while they fight. You are wife of chief. You hide. This is how you help. You stay alive so Tahan have reason to stay alive. You understand. You are his heart now. His heart die, he die. Simple. Maggie wanted to argue, but Desba was right. She let herself be dragged toward the ridge where 20 other women and twice as many children crouched behind rocks. They waited. Minutes crawled past like hours. Maggie's hands shook. The eagle pendant felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Then gunfire. Crack, 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 echoing through the canyon. Screams. More shots. A horse shrieking. The children whimpered. The women held them close, whispered prayers in Apache. Maggie pressed her hands over her mouth to keep from screaming. The battle lasted maybe 20 minutes. Felt like 20 years. When silence finally fell, no one moved. They waited another 10 minutes. Then Nakita stood. I go see, you stay. She disappeared down the ridge. Came back 15 minutes later, her face grim. 5 soldiers dead. 3 of ours wounded. No one killed, thank spirits. But soldiers will come back. More soldiers. Always more. Where's Tahan? Alive. He want to see you. Maggie didn't wait. She ran down the ridge, stumbled through the dark fell twice, didn't care. Found Tahan by the river, washing blood off his hands. Are you hurt? He looked up. Not my blood. Whose? Man who tried to shoot me. He miss. I did not miss. He stood, water dripping from his fingers. This is my life, Maggie. This is what it mean to be Apache chief. Always fighting. Always killing. Always one step ahead of death. You understand? This is what you marry into. This is what you must accept. Maggie walked right up to him, put her hands on his face and kissed him. Not gentle, not soft, hard and desperate and terrified. When she pulled back, Tahan stared at her. Why you do that? Because I thought you were dead. And I realized I didn't want you to be dead, and that scared me more than the soldiers. Something shifted in his expression. You feel something for me. Don't let it go to your head. Too late. He kissed her back. Slower, deeper, like he was trying to memorize the taste of her. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathing hard. I do not want to die, Tahan said quietly. Not anymore. Not now that I have reason to live. Then don't die. If soldiers come back, we'll deal with it. Together. He rested his forehead against hers. You are strange woman, Maggie Brennan. You fight me, hate me, argue with me. But now you kiss me like world is ending. Maybe it is ending. Maybe this is all we get. Maybe I'm tired of being angry at something I can't change. So you stop being angry. No, I just decide to be angry and in love at the same time. Seems more efficient. Tahan laughed. Actually laughed. The sound rolled out of him like thunder, and Maggie realized she'd never heard him laugh before. Come, he said, taking her hand. We go back. Tomorrow, we plan what to do about soldiers. Tonight, I want to be husband. Real husband. If you permit. Maggie's heart hammered. I permit. They walked back to the lodge hand in hand. Inside, Tahan rebuilt the fire while Maggie sat on the furs and tried to remember how to breathe. He turned to her. I will not hurt you. I know. I will be gentle. I know that too. Then why you shake? Because I'm scared. Of me. Of this. Of feeling something real. Of letting myself care about you and then losing you. She swallowed hard. Everyone I've ever cared about dies or leaves. My father. My mother. The people on the wagon train. I'm afraid if I let myself love you, you'll disappear too. Tahan knelt in front of her, took her hands. I cannot promise I will not die. We live in dangerous time. Death come for all of us. But I can promise this: while I live, you are mine. And I am yours. And nothing, not soldiers, not war, not fate will change that. You understand? Maggie nodded, not trusting her voice. Good. He kissed her hands, then her wrists, then her throat where the eagle pendant rested. Now, we become husband and wife in all ways. And tomorrow, when sunrise, we begin to build life together. Real life. Not just survival. Life. And for the first time since the wagon train burned, Maggie believed that might actually be possible. Morning came soft and golden. Maggie woke wrapped in Tahan's arms, their bodies tangled together under the furs. She'd never felt anything like this, safe and terrified and happy and grieving all at once. Tahan stirred, opened his eyes. You are awake. So are you. I am watching you sleep. That's creepy. Apache men do this. We watch our wives sleep to make sure no spirits steal them in night. That's still creepy. He smiled. Maybe. But you are still here, so it work. They lay there in the soft light, not talking, just breathing together. Then reality crashed back. The soldiers, the battle, the fact that more would come. We have to leave, Maggie said. The camp. We have to move deeper into the mountains. Yes. I call council today. We decide where to go. Will everyone follow you? Some will, others they are tired. Tired of running. Some want to surrender. Go to reservation. Live under white man's rule. What do you want? Tahan's jaw tightened. I want to fight. But fighting mean more death. More children without fathers. More wives without husbands. So maybe I am selfish. Maybe I should tell my people to surrender, to save lives. Or maybe you should let them choose. He looked at her. What you mean? You're their chief, but you're not their owner. Give them the choice. Some will follow you. Some will go to the reservation. Both are valid. Both are survival. You think like white woman. I am white woman. No, you are Apache woman with white skin. There is difference. He kissed her forehead. I think about your words. Now come. We have much to do. The council lasted 4 hours. Maggie sat behind Tahan while he spoke, understanding maybe half the words, but all of the emotion. Some warriors wanted to fight to the death. Others wanted peace at any cost. The elders argued about land, about treaties, about what the spirits wanted. When Tahan finally stood, the whole group fell silent. He spoke in Apache first. Then, for Maggie's benefit, repeated in English. I do not tell you what to choose. Every man decide for himself. Every woman decide for herself. Those who want to keep fighting, come with me. We go to Black Mountains, hide in caves, live free until we die free. Those who want peace go to Fort Bowie. Surrender. Take the white man's charity. Both choices are hard. Both choices have honor. I do not judge either. The old man from Maggie's first day spoke up. And your wife, the white woman, she come with you, or this is trick. This is how she betray us. Maggie stood before Tahan could answer. I stay with my husband. Where he goes, I go. If that means mountains, then mountains. If that means death, then death. I chose this life. I don't run from it now. The scarred woman, her name was Ya, stood up. I believe her. She fight Desba. She work like Apache. She marry our chief with open eyes. This is not woman who betray. Desba stood next. I hate her at first. She is weak white girl, but she prove me wrong. She fall off horse and laugh. She burn her hands grinding corn and keep grinding. She have Apache heart even if she have white skin. I trust her. One by one others stood, some in support, some still suspicious. But slowly, grudgingly, the tide turned. When the council ended, 23 people had decided to follow Tahan into the mountains. 16 chose the reservation. The rest were undecided. They had 3 days to pack and prepare. Maggie worked alongside the women, rolling up hides, gathering food, preparing for the journey. Nakita directed everything with iron efficiency. You learn fast, the old woman said. 3 months ago you are useless white girl. Now you are almost useful Apache woman. Highest praise I've ever gotten. Do not be smart. I can still make your life miserable. On the second night, Tahan took Maggie to the ridge overlooking the valley. The stars spread out overhead like spilled diamonds. I want to show you something, he said. He pointed to a cluster of stars. See those 3 stars in line? We call them the hunters. They chase the great bear across the sky every night. When they catch the bear, the season change. This is Apache way of telling time, of knowing when to plant, when to hunt, when to move. It's beautiful. Yes, but also useful. Beauty that serve purpose is best beauty. He turned to her. You are like this, beautiful and useful. You make my people trust white woman again. You make me trust again. This is gift. I didn't do anything special. You survive. That is most special thing. You do not break. Many women would break. You bend. You adapt. You become. He touched her face. I am grateful spirits send you to me. I thought you said spirits had nothing to do with it. Maybe I lie to myself. Maybe spirits know what they do after all. They stood there watching the stars until the cold drove them back to camp. On the third day, riders came. Not soldiers. Apache. From another band. They brought news the cavalry was moving through every canyon, burning camps, killing warriors, taking women and children as hostages to force surrender. We have to leave now, Tahan said. Not tomorrow. Now. Tonight. Chaos erupted. People grabbing what they could, abandoning the rest. Children crying. Dogs barking. Elders being helped onto horses. Maggie worked beside Desba, rolling up the last of the lodge hides. You are sure about this? Desba asked. Going into mountains is hard life. Harder than here. I'm sure. Even if you die there. Everyone dies somewhere. Might as well be somewhere beautiful. Desba grinned. Now you sound Apache. Maybe there is hope for you after all, white girl. Would it kill you to use my actual name? Probably, but I consider it. They rode out at dusk, 23 people, 15 horses, 3 dogs, and everything they could carry. Maggie rode behind Tahan on his painted horse, her arms wrapped around his waist, watching the only home she'd known in this new life disappear behind them. You have regret? Tahan asked over his shoulder. Ask me in a week. Fair answer. They climbed into the mountains as darkness fell. The trail was narrow and treacherous. Twice horses stumbled. Once a child nearly fell, but they kept moving. Around midnight they stopped to rest. Maggie slid off the horse, her legs shaking. She'd been riding for 6 hours straight. Tahan caught her as she stumbled. You need rest. I need everything. Rest is just the beginning. He led her to a flat spot, spread out a blanket. She collapsed onto it, every muscle screaming. How much farther? She asked. 2 days. Maybe 3. Depend on how fast we move. And then we find cave. Make new home. Live quiet. Hope soldiers do not find us. And if they do, Tahan was quiet for a long moment. Then we fight, and we die. But at least we die free. Maggie reached up, pulled him down beside her. Don't talk about dying. Talk about living. What you want to know about living? I want to know if you're happy. Right now. In this moment. Are you happy? He thought about it. Yes, I am happy. I have wife I respect, people I love, purpose I believe in. What more can man want? Peace. Peace is dream. Happiness is real. I choose real. Maggie kissed him. Long and slow and deep. When she pulled back, she said, Then I choose real too. They slept under the stars that night, wrapped in each other's arms while the wind whispered through the pine trees, and the future waited like a storm on the horizon. And for the first time in 3 months, Maggie didn't dream about the wagon train burning. She dreamed about mountains and eagles, and a man who'd given her a new life when the old one burned to ash. She dreamed about home. The cave they found on the 3rd day smelled like ancient stone and bat droppings, but it was deep enough to hide 23 people and dry enough to keep them alive through winter. Tahan stood at the entrance, surveying the valley below, while his people filed past him into the darkness. Maggie helped Nakita carry bundles of dried meat. The old woman moved slower now, her breathing labored from the climb. You need rest, Maggie said. I need many things. Rest is luxury. Nakita dumped her bundle and turned back. Come, more to carry. They worked until dark, hauling everything up the narrow trail. By the time they finished, Maggie's hands were bleeding again, and her legs felt like they might give out. She collapsed against the cave wall, too tired to move. Tahan found her there an hour later. He carried a water skin and a strip of dried venison. Eat. Can't move. Then I feed you like baby. That got her moving. She snatched the venison from his hand. I can feed myself, thank you. Good. I worry you finally break. He sat beside her close enough that their shoulders touched. You did well today. Better than some warriors. Don't patronize me. I do not patronize. I speak truth. Many warriors complain about carrying. You just carry. He paused. Desba say you are strongest white woman she ever meet. Coming from her, this is high praise. Where is Desba? Setting traps for rabbits. She take 2 boys to teach them. She is good teacher. Mean but good. Maggie smiled despite her exhaustion. Sounds about right. They sat in comfortable silence, listening to the sounds of the camp settling in. Children whispering. Someone coughing. The soft crackle of a carefully controlled fire deeper in the cave. Tahan. Yes. Do you think we'll make it? Really make it? He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was heavy. I think we will make it until we do not make it. And then we will die. But between now and dying we will live. That is all anyone can promise. That's not very comforting. Truth rarely is. Maggie leaned her head on his shoulder. I'm scared. I know. I am scared too. You're never scared. I am always scared. I just do not show it. Chief cannot show fear. Chief must be rock that others lean on, even when rock is crumbling inside. His hand found hers. But with you, I can say truth. With you, I do not have to be rock. I can just be man. Maggie squeezed his hand. Then be a man, here, now, with me, just for a minute. Only minute. Don't push your luck. He laughed quietly. Then he kissed her, and for a few moments the fear and exhaustion and uncertainty all faded away. The first week in the mountains was brutal. They had to ration water because the nearest stream was an hour's climb down. Food ran low despite the traps. 2 of the children got sick with fever. One of the elders died in his sleep, just closed his eyes one night and didn't open them again. They buried him at dawn, wrapped in his best blanket, and said prayers to the 4 directions. Maggie stood beside Tahan while he spoke words she didn't fully understand, but felt in her bones anyway. After the ceremony, Nakita pulled Maggie aside. You are pregnant. Maggie's heart stopped. What? You are pregnant. I see signs. Sickness in morning. Tender breasts. You cry more than usual. Baby growing inside you. That's not possible. You sleep with husband, yes. Maggie's face burned. That's none of your business. Then, it is possible. Nakita's expression softened slightly. This is good thing. Baby mean hope. Baby mean future. You tell Tahan soon. He will be happy. He'll be terrified. We're hiding in a cave. Soldiers are hunting us. This is the worst possible time to... There is never good time for baby. Baby come when baby want to come. This is way of things. The old woman gripped Maggie's arm. You are strong. You will survive this. Your baby will survive this. I will make sure. Maggie wanted to argue, wanted to deny it. But deep down she'd known for days. The nausea, the exhaustion that went beyond physical labor, the strange tenderness in her body. She was carrying Tahan's child. Don't tell him yet, she said. Please, not until I figure out how. Nakita studied her face. You have 1 week. Then I tell him myself. He deserved to know. That night, Maggie lay awake while Tahan slept beside her. She put her hand on her stomach, feeling for something, anything. Nothing yet. Too early. But life was there. Growing. Changing everything. She thought about her mother. About how her mother had lost 3 babies before Maggie was born. About how she'd always said childbirth was the closest a woman came to death, and somehow the closest she came to God at the same time. Maggie wasn't ready to meet God. Not yet. But ready or not, life was coming. 3 days later, Desba shook Maggie awake before dawn. "Get up, quiet." Maggie sat up, heart racing. "What's wrong?" "Soldiers, in valley, maybe 10 of them. They look for trails." "Did they see us?" "Not yet, but they look hard. Tahan say we stay hidden. No fires, no sounds. Children must be silent." Maggie grabbed her dress, pulled it on with shaking hands. Outside the cave, the tribe huddled in tight groups. Parents held hands over children's mouths. Even the dogs had been muzzled. Tahan stood at the cave entrance with 2 warriors watching the valley through gaps in the rocks. Maggie crept up beside him. "How close are they?" "Close enough." His voice was barely a whisper. "They found our old trail from 3 days ago. They follow it north. If they turn around, if they look up, they'll see us." "Yes." They watched in tense silence as the soldiers moved through the valley below. Maggie could see them clearly, blue uniforms, rifles slung over shoulders, horses picking their way through the rocks. One of them stopped, dismounted, studied the ground. "He found something," Tahan breathed. The soldier knelt, touched the dirt, looked up the mountain, directly at the cave. Maggie's breath caught. She pressed herself against the rock wall, praying he couldn't see her, praying the shadows were deep enough. Praying. The soldier called out to his companions. They gathered around him, talking, pointing. One of them started toward the trail that led up to the cave. "They are coming," Tahan said. "Everyone back, deep into cave. Now." People scrambled backward into the darkness. Maggie helped Nakita move faster, practically carrying the old woman over the rough ground. Behind them, she heard Tahan giving orders in rapid Apache. They retreated to the deepest part of the cave, where the ceiling dropped low and the air tasted like stone. Someone lit a single small candle, just enough to see faces. "What do we do?" Maggie whispered. "We wait," Nakita said. "We wait and we hope." They waited. Minutes crawled past. Maggie could hear her own heartbeat loud as thunder in her ears. Someone's child started to whimper. A mother shushed them desperately. Then voices. English. Coming from the cave entrance. "You see anything in there?" "Too dark to tell. Could be empty. Could be full of hostiles. We should check." "You want to go first. Be my guest." Footsteps, crunching on stone, getting closer. Tahan moved to the front of the group, bow in hand, arrow nocked. 2 other warriors flanked him. If the soldiers found them, it would be a slaughter. The soldiers had rifles. The Apache had bows and surprise. Maybe. Maggie's hand went to her stomach, to the life growing there. She thought, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is not the world I wanted to bring you into." The footsteps stopped. "Lieutenant says fall back. Not worth the risk. Could be a bear den or worse." "Fine by me. This whole mountain gives me the creeps." The footsteps retreated. Voices faded. No one moved. No one breathed. 5 minutes passed. 10. Finally, Tahan lowered his bow. They go, for now. The collective exhale was like wind through the cave. Children started crying in earnest now. Adults hugged each other. Someone started praying. Maggie's legs gave out. She sat hard on the cave floor, shaking so badly, her teeth chattered. Tahan knelt beside her. "You are all right." "No, I'm not all right. I'm pregnant, and we almost died, and I can't. She clapped her hand over her mouth, realizing what she'd just said. Tahan stared at her. "Pregnant." Maggie nodded, tears streaming down her face. "You carry my child." Another nod. Something transformed in Tahan's face. Fear and joy and wonder all mixed together. He pulled her into his arms, held her so tight she could barely breathe. "This is why spirits send you to me," he whispered into her hair. Not just for me. For this. For future. For hope. There's no hope. We're going to die in this cave. No. He pulled back, gripped her shoulders. No. We will not die. I promise you. I will keep you alive. I will keep our child alive. This I swear on my father's grave, on the spirits, on everything I am. You can't promise that. I can. And I do. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. You are carrying my son. Could be a daughter. Then I will have fierce daughter who fight like her mother. He laughed, actually laughed despite everything. When does baby come? I don't know. 6 months? 7. Nakita would know better. Then we ask her. We plan. We prepare. He stood, pulling Maggie up with him. This change everything. We need more food, better shelter, safety, real safety, not just hiding. How do we get any of that? I do not know yet, but I will find way. I always find way. Word spread through the tribe within an hour. The chief's wife was pregnant. Some celebrated a baby meant hope, meant the tribe would continue. Others worried another mouth to feed, another life to protect. Desba cornered Maggie that afternoon. You are stupid. Nice to see you too. Stupid to get pregnant now. Stupid to tell Tahan when soldiers hunt us. Stupid to think baby will survive this. I didn't plan this. No. But you did it anyway. Desba's face softened slightly. But maybe stupid is also brave. Maybe bringing life into dying world is bravest thing anyone can do. So you are stupid brave. This is Apache way too. I'll take it. You better. Is only compliment you get from me. Desba paused. I will help. When baby come, I will be there. I deliver babies before. 3 in my family. All live. I make sure yours live too. Maggie's throat tightened. Thank you. Do not thank me yet. Birth is hard. You might curse me later. Probably. But thank you anyway. That night, Tahan called the warriors together. Maggie wasn't supposed to listen, but she did anyway, pressing her ear to the hide wall of their sleeping area. We cannot stay here, Tahan said. Not through winter. Not with baby coming. We need better place. Safer place. There is no safe place, one warrior argued. Soldiers everywhere. Then we make safe place. We find valley soldiers do not know. We build real shelter. We hunt real food. We live, not just survive. And how we do this? Another asked. We are 23 people. Army is thousands. We are small. We move quiet. We use land. Land is our mother. She protect us if we respect her. Tahan's voice grew stronger. I know place. 3 days west. Hidden valley behind waterfall. My father show me when I was boy. He say if everything fall apart, go there. So we go there. 3 days travel with children. With old ones. With your pregnant wife. Yes, we go slow. We go careful. But we go. Tomorrow before soldiers come back. Silence. Then one by one voices agreed. If chief say go, we go. Your father was wise. If he say valley is safe, then safe. For the baby. For future. We go. Maggie pulled back from the wall, her hand on her stomach. 3 days travel through mountains. While pregnant. While soldiers hunted them. She'd done harder things. Maybe. They left before dawn, each person carrying what they could. Maggie wore the eagle pendant tucked inside her dress close to her heart. Tahan insisted she ride, but she refused. Others needed the horses more. Elders. Small children. The sick. I can walk. You are pregnant. I'm pregnant, not broken. I can walk. Nakita overheard and cackled. She learn well. Stubborn like Apache. Good. The trail was treacherous. Narrow paths along cliff edges. Stream crossings where the water ran fast and cold. Twice they had to backtrack when the way forward proved impossible. Children cried. Adults struggled. But they kept moving. On the second day, one of the horses broke its leg. They had to put it down. Some of the tribe wept not just for the horse, but for what it represented. Their resources dwindling. Their odds shrinking. Tahan butchered the horse himself, refusing to let anyone else do it. They cooked the meat that night, rationed it carefully. It would last 3 days if they were careful, 4 if they were desperate. Maggie forced herself to eat, even though her stomach rebelled. The baby needed food. That was all that mattered now. "You are pale," Tahan said, studying her face in the firelight. "I'm fine." "You are not fine. You are exhausted." "Everyone's exhausted. Everyone is not carrying my child." He pulled her close. "Rest. I watch over you. You need rest too. I will rest when we reach Valley. Until then, I am Chief. Chief does not rest while people need him." Maggie wanted to argue, but her eyes were already closing. She fell asleep against his chest, his heartbeat steady beneath her ear. She dreamed of soldiers, of fire, of running through endless canyons while something hunted her. She woke gasping dawn light filtering through the trees. Tahan was gone. She sat up panicked and found him 20 feet away talking with the warriors. Planning, always planning. On the third day, they reached the valley. It was exactly as Tahan had described, hidden behind a waterfall accessible only through a narrow gap in the rocks. Inside the valley opened up like a secret grass trees, a stream running clear and cold. Space enough for shelters, game trails suggesting deer, even birds singing in the branches. "It's beautiful," Maggie breathed. "It is home," Tahan said. "For now, until we must move again." They spent the next 2 weeks building, shelters from branches and hides, a central fire pit, storage for food. Tahan worked from dawn to dark, his hands bleeding from the labor. Maggie worked beside him until Na Kita physically dragged her away. "You rest, you grow, baby. That is your work now. I can help." "You help by staying healthy. Baby need healthy mother. Sit, eat, sleep. This is help." Maggie hated being useless, but she knew Nakita was right, so she sat, ate, slept, and tried not to think about how fragile this peace felt. 1 month into their stay in the valley, a scout brought news. The cavalry had pulled back to Fort Bowie for winter. They'd given up the hunt for now. The tribe celebrated cautiously. It wasn't freedom, just a reprieve. But in a world of constant fear, a reprieve felt like a gift from the spirits themselves. That night, Tahan took Maggie to the waterfall. The sound of rushing water drowned out everything else. They could speak freely here without being overheard. "I have something to tell you," Tahan said. Maggie's stomach clenched. "What?" "I am happy. For first time in years, I am happy. Not just surviving, not just fighting. Happy. Because of you. Because of baby. Because of this." He gestured to the valley. "I thought happiness was dead. I thought I kill it myself when I become chief. But you bring it back." Tears stung Maggie's eyes. "I'm scared all the time." "I know. Me too. But fear and happiness can live together. They do live together. This is what it means to be alive, to feel everything at once and keep breathing anyway." "When did you get so wise?" "I am not wise. I am just old enough to know that wisdom is accepting you know nothing." He pulled her close. "But I know this. I love you, Maggie Brennan. I love you in ways I do not have words for, in both languages. You are my heart, my breath, my reason for fighting. And I will spend rest of my life making sure you and our child survive. This I promise." Maggie kissed him, poured everything she couldn't say into that kiss. When they finally broke apart, she whispered, "I love you too. I fought it, hated it, tried to deny it. But I love you. God help me, I love you. Then we are doomed, Tahan said with a slight smile. Why? Because love in time of war is either most foolish thing or most brave thing. We will find out which. They stood under the stars, water crashing behind them, and for that one perfect moment, the war didn't exist. The soldiers didn't exist. There was only two people who'd found each other in the midst of chaos and decided to hold on. 3 months passed in relative peace. Maggie's belly grew round. The baby kicked strong, insistent kicks that made Tahan laugh with delight every time he felt them. Our son is warrior already. Or, our daughter is fighter. Either way, we are blessed. But peace never lasted. It was Desba who saw them first. She'd been hunting on the ridge when she spotted movement in the trees. Blue uniforms. Dozens of them. Moving toward the valley. She ran back breathless. Soldiers. Coming here. Someone betray us. Tahan's face went stone hard. Who? I do not know. But they come straight here. They know where we are. The tribe erupted in panic. They'd been betrayed. But by who? Someone from the group that went to the reservation, a scout captured and tortured. Did it even matter now? Tahan grabbed his weapons. We run. Now. Take children, take elders, take what we can carry. Everything else we leave. There is no time, one warrior protested. They are too close. Then we make time. Tahan turned to Maggie. You go with Nakita, you take North Trail, I lead soldiers away. No. Maggie grabbed his arm. No, you're not doing that. I am chief. I protect my people. This is how I protect. You'll die. Maybe. But you and baby will live. That is what matter. Tahan, please. He kissed her, hard and desperate. Remember what I tell you. Remember that I love you. Remember that our child must know who his father was. Promise me. I can't. Promise me, Maggie. Tears streamed down her face. I promise. Good. He turned to the warriors. Those who fight follow me. Those who run go now. Do not look back. Do not wait. Just run. 8 warriors chose to fight. 15 people chose to run. Maggie was dragged away by Nakita and Desba, each of them gripping her arms, half carrying her up the North Trail while she screamed Tahan's name. The last thing she saw was him standing in the valley bow, drawn face painted for war. 8 men against dozens of soldiers. He looked at her one last time, smiled, then turned toward the approaching army. And Maggie ran. They heard the gunfire before they'd gone half a mile, crack, 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 echoing through the canyon like bones breaking. Then screams, men's voices raised in war cries and agony. The sound of horses, more gunfire. Maggie tried to stop, tried to turn back, but Desba's grip was iron. No, you keep moving. He's dying back there. Then he dies so you live. Do not waste his sacrifice. Nakita wheezed beside them, struggling to keep pace. 2 children clung to her skirts. Behind them, the other survivors stumbled up the trail, mothers carrying babies. Old men leaning on walking sticks, everyone moving as fast as terror could push them. The gunfire stopped. The silence that followed was worse than any sound. Maggie's legs gave out. She hit the ground hard, her pregnant belly pulling her off balance. Pain shot through her side. Get up, Desba hissed. Now. Soldiers will come. They always come. He's dead. Tahan's dead. You do not know that. I know. I feel it. He's gone. Nakita knelt beside her, breathing hard. Maybe he dead. Maybe not. Either way, you alive. Baby alive. This is what he want. This is what he fight for. Now get up and honor that fight. Or sit here and die. Your choice. Maggie wanted to die. wanted to just stop, lie down in the dirt, and let the world end. But the baby kicked hard, insistent, and something in that kick said, "Not yet. Not done yet." She stood, kept walking. They climbed for 3 more hours, every step agony. Maggie's feet bled inside her moccasins. Her belly cramped. But she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. At dusk, they reached a cave smaller than the last one, barely large enough for 15 people, but hidden. Desba checked it first for animals. Found nothing but old bones and bat guano. "We stay here tonight. No fire, no sound. We wait." They huddled together in the darkness. Children whimpered softly. Someone prayed in Apache. Maggie sat with her back against the cave wall, both hands on her belly, and tried not to think about Tahan standing in that valley bow, drawn facing death, with that slight smile on his face. "I will spend rest of my life making sure you and our child survive." He'd kept that promise. For 3 hours, until soldiers killed him. "Stop thinking," Desba said quietly. She sat beside Maggie. "I see your face. You think of him. You think of death. Stop." "I can't." "You can. You must. Grief come later. Survival come first." "How do you do it? How do you just keep going?" Desba was quiet for a long moment. "My father died when I was 10. Soldiers shoot him while he fish in river. He do nothing wrong, just fish. They shoot him anyway. I watch, I scream, I cry. I want to die too. But my mother, she grab me. She say, 'Your father die so you can live. Do not insult his death by wasting your life.' So I live, every day, even when living hurt, even when living feel wrong. I live because he die. You understand?" Maggie nodded, not trusting her voice. "Good. Then you live too. For Tahan. For baby. For all of us who need you to be strong." "I'm not strong. You are strongest person here. You are white woman who become Apache. You lose everything and still stand. You carry Chief's baby and still walk 3 hours up mountain. If that not strong, then I do not know what strong is." Dawn came gray and cold. Desba went out first scouting. Came back 20 minutes later, her face grim. "Soldiers gone. They head east. But Valley?" She shook her head. "Valley is burned. Everything burned. Bodies." She stopped, looked at Maggie. "You do not want to know. Tell me. 8 Apache dead. Tahan." Her voice cracked. "I find 6 soldiers dead too. He fight hard. Kill many before they kill him." Maggie's vision blurred. The cave spun. She tasted bile. "I want to see him." "No, you do not want to see him." "I need to." "No." Desba gripped her shoulders. "You remember him alive. You remember him strong. What they do to him, that is not him. That is just meat. He is gone. His spirit fly free. You do not need to see meat to know truth." Nakita moved closer. "Desba is right. You are pregnant. You see that baby, feel that. Baby grow in grief and blood. This not good. You want to honor Tahan. You give his child best chance at life. That mean you do not look at death. You look at life." Maggie wanted to scream, wanted to rage, wanted to hit something until her hands broke. But they were right. They were both right. "What do we do now?" "We move," Nakita said. "Far from here. Find new place. Start again." "There is no new place. They'll find us. They always find us." "Then we make ourselves small. We scatter. 2 here, 3 there. Harder to find small groups. Easier to hide." Desba nodded. "Is smart. We split up. Meet again in spring. At Canyon where 3 rivers meet. You know this place." Nakita nodded. "I know." "Good. I take 2 warriors, 2 children. Go south. You take Maggie, 2 elders, go west. Others go north. We survive winter apart. Come together when safe. The group split before noon. Hugs. Tears. Promises to meet again. Maggie watched families separate children from parents, siblings from each other, and felt her heart break all over again. She, Nakita, and 3 others headed west. An old man named Kla, a young woman named Shien, with a baby, and little Kiana, the girl who'd given Maggie flowers months ago. Her parents had been killed in the valley. Now she was an orphan. They walked for 5 days, living on roots and whatever small game they could catch. Maggie's body screamed for rest, but she pushed through. Had to. No choice. On the 6th day, Shien's baby stopped crying. They checked him. He was cold. Too cold. His lips were blue. No breath. No heartbeat. Just gone. Sometime in the night while his mother slept, he'd slipped away. Shien didn't scream. Didn't cry. Just held her dead son and rocked him, humming a lullaby that would never be heard again. They buried him under a juniper tree, said prayers, moved on. That night, Shien walked into the darkness and didn't come back. They found her at dawn hanging from a tree branch, her neck broken, her face peaceful. She could not live without her baby, Nakita said quietly. Some women are like this. Baby is everything. Without baby, there is nothing. We can't just leave her there. We have no choice. We have no time. We have no strength. We move or we die, all of us. So they left her. Another body for the crows. Another life ended. They were down to 4. 2 weeks later, they reached the town. Tucson. A sprawl of adobe buildings and dust, loud with the sound of wagons and horses and men shouting. Nakita stopped at the edge of town, staring. We cannot go there. We have to, Maggie said. Her voice was hoarse. She hadn't spoken much in days. I'm 8 months pregnant. I need a real shelter, real food. We all do. They will take you. Put you with white people. You will be safe. What about you? We go to reservation. This is only choice now. War is over. We lose. Nakita's eyes were ancient and tired. But you can have different life. You can raise baby as white child. Safe. Fed. Alive. I won't abandon you. You do not abandon. You survive. There is difference. The old woman touched Maggie's face with one gnarled hand. You are good daughter to me, good wife to my son. But his war is done. Your war is just beginning. War of keeping his child alive in white world. This is harder war, but you must fight it. Come with me, all of you. We'll find a way. No, white people do not want old Apache women. Do not want Apache children. They want you, only you, because you are one of them, always were, always will be. That's not true. It is truth. You live with us, you love us, but you are white. This save you. This is Tahan's final gift. He give you child who can pass as white, who can survive when full Apache cannot. Do not waste that gift. Maggie looked at Claw at little Kiana. They watched her with dark eyes that had seen too much death. I can't just... Yes, you can. You will. Nakita pulled the eagle pendant from Maggie's neck. You keep this. You give to child when child is old enough to understand. You tell child about father, about people, about what was lost. This is your duty now, not survival, memory. You become keeper of our story. You make sure we are not forgotten. She pressed the pendant into Maggie's hand. Then she turned to Kiana, spoke in rapid Apache. The little girl nodded, came to Maggie, took her hand. She go with you, Nakita said. She is young enough to pass as Mexican, maybe Spanish. You say she is yours. You raise her. She live. No, I can't take her. You can. You will. She have no one else. I am old. I die soon. Claw is old. He die soon. You are young. You live. She live with you. Nakita's voice turned hard. Do not argue. This is decided. Maggie wanted to fight, but she had nothing left, no strength, No words, just grief and exhaustion and a baby kicking inside her that wanted to be born. Where will you go? To reservation. We beg white men for mercy. Maybe they give, maybe they kill us. Either way, our path end there, and Nakita smiled slightly. But your path continue. This is good. This is right. You go now, before I change mind. She pushed Maggie toward the town. Maggie stumbled, caught herself, looked back. Nakita and Claw were already walking away, heading south toward the reservation. They didn't look back. Maggie stood there, one hand holding Kiana's, the other pressed to her belly. The eagle pendant was hot against her palm. "Come on," she whispered to the little girl. "Let's go." They walked into Tucson together. The town swallowed them immediately. People everywhere. White people, Mexican people, even a few Chinese. No one looked twice at a pregnant woman and a child. Maggie found a church. Father Miguel, the priest, took one look at her belly and her exhausted face and ushered them inside. "Please," Maggie said, "we need help." "You are with child." "Yes." "The father, dead." That was all she said, all she could say without breaking completely. Father Miguel didn't ask questions. He fed them, gave them a room in the back of the church, brought a midwife named Rosa, who examined Maggie and said the baby would come any day now. "You are lucky," Rosa said. "Baby is strong, but you are too thin, too tired. You rest, you eat, you prepare." Maggie rested, ate, prepared, and tried not to think about Tahan. Failed every time. The baby came 3 days later in the middle of the night, with Rosa and Father Miguel and little Kiana all crowded into the tiny room. The pain was worse than anything Maggie had ever imagined, worse than hunger, worse than grief. Pain that split her open and turned her inside out. She screamed, didn't care who heard. Let the whole town hear. "Push," Rosa commanded. "Push now." Maggie pushed. Felt something tear. Tasted blood. Pushed again. "I see head. One more. One more big push." Maggie bore down with everything she had left. Felt the baby slide free in a rush of fluid and blood and relief. Then a cry. Thin and angry and alive. "Is boy?" Rosa said, smiling. She cleaned the baby quickly, wrapped him in a blanket, placed him on Maggie's chest. Beautiful, strong boy. Maggie looked down at her son. He was red and wrinkled, and screaming, his hair dark as midnight, his eyes, when they opened, gray like hers, but with something else. Something of Tahan in the set of his jaw, the shape of his nose. "Hello," she whispered. "I'm your mama, and your daddy. Your daddy was the bravest man who ever lived. And he loved you before you were even born. And he died to give you life. And I promise, I'll make sure you know him, somehow." The baby quieted at her voice. His tiny hand wrapped around her finger. Kiana crept closer, peeked at the baby. What his name? Maggie thought for a long moment. Then Kai. His name is Kai. It means... Her voice broke. It means fighter. Someone who survives. Someone who endures. Kai Tahan Brennan, she said firmly. That's his full name. So he knows where he comes from. Both sides. Father Miguel frowned. The boy will face prejudice with an Indian name. Then he'll learn to be strong, like his father. Maggie held Kai closer. I won't erase who he is. Not for anyone. The first weeks were brutal. Kai cried constantly. Maggie's body hurt everywhere. She bled for days. Couldn't walk without pain. But she kept going. Father Miguel let them stay through winter in exchange for Maggie helping with church duties. She cleaned, cooked, tended to Kiana. And in the quiet moments, she whispered stories to Kai. Stories about his father. About the Apache. About a love that had crossed impossible lines. Your daddy could track a deer for 3 days without losing the trail, she said one night, rocking Kai while he nursed. He could shoot an arrow through a leaf from 50 yards. He could read the stars like other people read books. And he loved me even though I was his enemy, even though I was everything his people had been taught to hate. He loved me anyway, and that was the bravest thing of all. Kiana listened to these stories too. She was 6 years old enough to remember her own parents. At night she had nightmares, would wake screaming. Maggie would hold her, let her cry. "I want Mama," Kiana sobbed one night. "I know, honey. I know." "She dead?" "Yes." "Like Tahan?" "Yes." "Why everyone dead?" Maggie had no answer, just held the little girl until she stopped shaking. Spring came slowly. The desert bloomed flowers everywhere, sudden and bright. Maggie watched them from the church steps, Kai in her arms, and thought about Nakita. Was she alive? Was Claw? Had they made it to the reservation? Or had they died in the winter cold? She'd never know. In March, a cavalry officer came to the church. Lieutenant James Garrett. Young, maybe 30, with kind eyes and a tired face. "Father Miguel said there's a woman here who might have information about the Apache." Maggie's heart stopped. "I don't know anything." "You were taken by them, last year, from the Santa Fe trail attack." "How did you—" "We found the wagon train, found survivors. Your mother survived. She's been looking for you." The world tilted. "My mother's alive." "Yes, ma'am. She's in Santa Fe. She asked me to find you. She's been asking every patrol, every scout. She never gave up." Tears streamed down Maggie's face. Is she well?" "Well enough. She wants to see you." Garrett paused. "But she doesn't know about—" He gestured to Kai. "About the child. This is my son. His name is Kai. His father was Apache." Garrett's expression shifted. Pity, disgust. He tried to hide both. "I see. Do you—" "Ma'am, I understand you've been through an ordeal. You were held captive. You were—" He stopped. "What happened to you wasn't your fault. I wasn't raped, if that's what you're implying. I married him, I loved him, and he loved me." Garrett looked uncomfortable. That's your business, ma'am. But you should know your mother may not— people may not understand." "I don't care if they understand. This is my son. I won't apologize for him. I'm not asking you to. I'm trying to prepare you. The world isn't kind to children like him." "Then the world can go to hell." Garrett blinked. Then, surprisingly, he smiled. "Yes, ma'am. I expect it can." He arranged for her to travel to Santa Fe, gave her money for a stagecoach, said he'd write ahead to her mother. "Thank you," Maggie said. "You're welcome, ma'am." He tipped his hat. "For what it's worth, I'm sorry. About your husband. I didn't know him. But any man who'd die defending his family is a man worth respecting, no matter what side he was on." It was the kindest thing any white person had said to her in months. The journey to Santa Fe took 3 days. Maggie held Kai the whole time, terrified he'd cry and draw attention. Kiana sat pressed against her side, equally quiet. They arrived on a Tuesday. Maggie's mother was waiting at the station. She looked older, grayer, thinner, but alive. So alive. "Maggie. Mama." They fell into each other's arms, both sobbing. Her mother smelled like lavender and soap and home. "I thought you were dead," her mother gasped. "I thought they'd killed you. I prayed every night, every single night. I'm alive. I'm here." Her mother pulled back, looked at Kai. Her smile faltered. This is your grandson, Kai, and this is Kiana. I'm raising her too." Her mother stared at the children, at Kai's dark hair, at Kiana's Apache features, at Maggie's defiant face. "You married one of them." "Yes." "Oh, Maggie." "His name was Tahan. He was brave and kind and good, and he died protecting me, protecting his child. And I loved him. I love him still." Her mother was silent for a long time. Then, "Does he have your eyes, the baby?" Yes, gray, like mine. Then he's beautiful. Her mother touched Kai's cheek with one trembling finger. They're both beautiful. Maggie started crying again. You don't hate me. Hate you, baby. I could never hate you. I don't understand. And I'm scared for you. Scared for what people will say. But hate you. She pulled Maggie close again. Never. You're my daughter. And these are my grandchildren. That's all that matters. They built a life together. Small. Quiet. Maggie's mother had a little house on the edge of town. They lived there, 3 women, 2 children making do. Maggie took in sewing. Her mother baked bread to sell. Kiana learned English. Kai grew strong. People talked. Of course they talked. The woman who'd lived with savages. The half-breed child. The mysterious dark-skinned girl. Maggie ignored them. Held her head high. Refused to be ashamed. At night, she told Kai stories. Always stories. About his father. About the Apache. About a world that had existed before the war destroyed it. Your daddy used to say the eagle chooses one mate for life. She whispered, the eagle pendant warm in her hand. And I was his eagle. And you're proof that love is stronger than hate. That life is stronger than death. That hope survives even when everything else burns. Kai cooed his gray eyes, watching her face. You're going to grow up in 2 worlds, Maggie continued. And neither will fully accept you. The white world will see your Apache blood. The Apache world, what's left of it, will see your white blood. But you know what? That makes you stronger, not weaker. You're the bridge your daddy dreamed of, the future he died to create. And I promise I will make sure you know your worth, your history, your father, all of it. Outside the desert, wind blew. Somewhere an eagle cried. Maggie looked out the window at the stars. At the same stars Tahan had shown her months ago. I kept our son alive, she whispered to the night. I kept your promise, and I'll keep telling your story. Until my last breath, I swear it. The wind answered, and for just a moment, Maggie could have sworn she felt a hand on her shoulder. Warm, steady, real. Then it was gone, but the love remained, always. Kai was 3 years old the first time someone called him a half-breed to his face. They were at the market, Maggie holding his hand while her mother haggled over the price of flour. A boy, maybe 10-11, pointed at Kai and laughed. Look at that half-breed. Mama, why's his skin so dark? He got Indian in him. The boy's mother shushed him, but not before giving Maggie a look that said everything. Disgust, pity, judgment. Kai looked up at Maggie, his gray eyes confused. Mama, what's half-breed? Maggie knelt down to his level right there in the market, not caring who watched. That's a word small-minded people use when they're too scared to see someone's whole heart. You're not half anything. You're whole. You're Kai Tahan Brennan. You're my son. And you're perfect. But why's that boy mad at me? He's not mad at you, baby. He's just scared. People fear what they don't understand. That's their problem, not yours. That night, Maggie held the eagle pendant in her lap while Kai slept. Kiana, now 8, sat beside her mending a torn shirt. It will get worse, Kiana said quietly. She spoke perfect English now with only the slightest accent. When he's older, boys will fight him. Girls will not talk to him. People will treat him like he is nothing. I know. So what you do? I teach him to be strong, to be proud, to know who he is. Maggie looked at the pendant. His father never apologized for being Apache. I won't let Kai apologize for being his son. 5 years passed like water through fingers. Kai grew tall for his age, lean and quick. His hair stayed black as midnight, but his eyes, those gray eyes, marked him as Maggie's child as much as Tahan's. He learned to read from Maggie, to fight from the Mexican boys in town, who grudgingly accepted him after he bloodied enough noses. He learned to ride from an old cowboy named Dutch, who worked at the livery, and didn't care what color a child's skin was, as long as he worked hard. And every night, Maggie told him stories. Your father could speak 3 languages, she said one evening while Kai sat cross-legged on the floor, listening with that intense focus he inherited from Tahan. English, Spanish, and Apache. He said language was power. The more languages you knew, the more people you could understand. The more people you could love. Teach me Apache, Kai said. It wasn't the first time he'd asked. I don't remember enough. Just words here and there. Then teach me those. So she did. Shash, bear, Goshkan, fire, Shima, mother, Shijeye, father. Kai repeated them carefully, his child's tongue struggling with the sounds. But he kept trying, always trying. Kiana taught him too. She remembered more than Maggie did. Songs, prayers, the names of plants and animals. Together, they gave Kai fragments of a heritage that the world wanted him to forget. When Kai turned 8, everything changed. A man came to the house, gray-haired, dignified, wearing a suit too fine for Santa Fe. He introduced himself as Edward Whitmore, a lawyer from Boston. I'm looking for Margaret Brennan. That's me. He studied her face. You were taken by the Apache in 1873, from the Santa Fe Trail. Maggie's stomach clenched. Yes. There's been a settlement. Compensation for victims of Indian attacks. Your name was on the list. You're entitled to $500. $500. A fortune. Enough to live on for 2 years, maybe 3. I don't want blood money. Whitmore blinked. I beg your pardon. That money comes from the government stealing Apache land, from killing Apache people. I won't profit from their deaths. Mrs. Brennan, I understand you have complicated feelings about your captivity, but this money is meant to help you rebuild your life. My life is rebuilt. I don't need money paid for with my husband's blood. Your husband? Whitmore's eyes went to Kai, playing in the yard with Kiana. Understanding dawned. I see, you married one of them. His name was Tahan. He was a good man, a better man than most I've met in this town. Be that as it may, the offer stands. $500. All you need to do is sign. Maggie stared at the papers in his hand. $500 would change everything. New house, better food, safety. But it would also mean accepting that Tahan's death had a price. That his people's suffering could be converted into currency. No, keep your money. Whitmore frowned. You're making a mistake. Probably, but it's my mistake to make. He left, shaking his head. Maggie's mother waited until he was gone, then turned on her. Are you insane? $500, Maggie? Do you know what we could do with that? I know exactly what we could do, and I know I couldn't live with myself if I took it. This is about pride. This is about principle. There's a difference. Her mother sighed. You're just like your father, stubborn as a mule. He never took charity either, died poor because of it. Then I'll die poor too. At least I'll die honest. But the damage was done. Word spread through town. The woman who'd turned down compensation. The woman who'd defended the Apache. The woman who'd married a savage and bore his child. The whispers got louder, meaner. One day, Kai came home with a split lip and torn shirt. What happened? Boys at school. They said, he stopped. They said you were a whore, that I'm a bastard. What's a whore? Mama. Maggie's vision went red. She marched to the school, dragged the schoolmaster outside, and told him in front of half the town that if any child bullied her son again, she'd personally make sure their parents answered for it. Your son doesn't belong here, the schoolmaster said coldly. This is a school for civilized children. My son is more civilized than any of your students. He just has the misfortune of being born to parents who actually loved each other. Unlike most marriages in this town, which are just business transactions with extra steps. She pulled Kai out of school that day, taught him at home instead. It was harder, lonelier, but at least he was safe. When Kai turned 10, he asked the question Maggie had been dreading. Mama, where's my father buried? She'd known this day would come, had prepared a dozen answers, all of them lies. She chose truth instead. I don't know, baby. He died in battle. The soldiers, they didn't bury the Apache. They left them. Kai's face crumpled. So he's just bones, somewhere. His body is bones, but his spirit. She touched his chest. His spirit lives here, in you, in me, in every story I've told you. That's the real him. Not bones, not dust. Love and memory. That's what survives. I want to see where he died. Kai, please, Mama, I need to see. I need to know where he fell. Maggie looked at her son. He had Tahan's determination written all over his face. That same stubborn courage that had made Tahan stand against an army with 8 men and no fear. All right, when you're older, when you're strong enough for the journey, I'll take you. 3 years later, she kept that promise. Kai was 13 now, tall as Maggie's shoulder, lean and strong from working at the livery. Kiana was 18, practically a woman, helping Maggie's mother run the house. I'm going with him, Maggie announced, to the valley, to find where Tahan died. Her mother paled. That's insane! The Apache wars are over, but the land is still dangerous. Bandits, outlaws, wild animals. I know, but I promised him, and I keep my promises. They left on a Tuesday, just the two of them, 2 horses' supplies for a week. Kiana wanted to come, but Maggie needed her to stay to take care of her mother. You come back, Kiana said, hugging Maggie tight. You hear me? You come back. I cannot lose you too. I'll come back. I promise. The journey took 4 days. Maggie remembered the way like it was carved into her bones. Every canyon, every turn. The land had changed, more fences now, more settlements, but the bones of it were the same. On the 4th day, they reached the valley. It was empty, silent. The waterfall still rushed behind the rocks, but the valley itself was overgrown. Nature had reclaimed what humans had destroyed. Kai stood at the edge, staring. This is where he died. Yes. Show me. Maggie walked him through the valley, pointed to where the lodges had stood, where the fire pit had burned, where she'd slept beside Tahan and dreamed of a future that would never come. And where did he fall? Maggie stopped at the center of the valley. Here, right here. He stood with 8 warriors against 40 soldiers, and he fought until he couldn't fight anymore. Kai knelt, pressed his hands to the earth. Can you feel it, Mama? His spirit. Every day, baby. Every single day. They camped that night in the valley, built a small fire, sat under stars that looked exactly like the stars Tahan had shown Maggie years ago. Tell me about him, Kai said. Not stories, real things. What did he sound like? What did he smell like? What made him laugh? Maggie closed her eyes, pulling up memories. He smelled like leather and sage smoke. His voice was low, rough, like stones rubbing together. And he laughed. God, when he laughed, it was like thunder rolling, deep and full and completely without reservation. She opened her eyes. He laughed at me once because I couldn't ride a horse without falling off. Said I rode like a drunk man, and I was so mad. But then he showed me how to do it right. Patient, kind. Never made me feel stupid for not knowing. Did he want me before I was born? Did he want me? He wanted you more than anything in the world. He used to put his hand on my belly and talk to you, tell you stories, promise you things. He said, her voice broke. He said you were proof that love was stronger than war, that hope could survive even in the darkest times. And he died believing that, died protecting that belief. Kai was crying, silent tears streaming down his face. I wish I'd known him. You do know him. You're just like him, stubborn, brave. You fight for what's right even when it's hard. You see the good in people even when they don't deserve it. That's all him, every bit of it. And you, Mama, what's from you? The stubbornness. She smiled through her own tears. That's definitely from me. They stayed in the valley 3 days. Kai explored every inch of it. collected stones, carved his father's name into a piece of wood and planted it like a marker. On the third day they found it, a small bundle wrapped in rotting leather hidden in a crevice in the rocks. Kai unwrapped it carefully. Inside a bow, Tahan's bow. Broken now, the string gone, the wood cracked, but unmistakably his. How did this survive? Kai breathed. Maybe someone hid it, one of the warriors, or maybe Maggie took the bow, felt its weight. Maybe the spirits kept it safe, for you, for this moment. Kai held the bow like it was made of glass. Can we take it home? Yes, it's yours now, your inheritance. They rode back to Santa Fe with the bow tied carefully to Kai's saddle. He didn't speak much on the journey, just held the bow, ran his fingers over the cracked wood, connected to his father through the only physical thing that remained. When they got home, Kiana burst into tears at the sight of them. I thought I had dreams, bad dreams. I thought you were dead. We're alive. We're fine. Maggie hugged her. We found something. Something important. That night, Kai cleaned the bow, oiled the wood, replaced the string with new sinew. Slowly, carefully, he restored it. When he was done, he stood in the yard and drew the bow. It still worked. Still sang with that particular music only a perfect bow makes. I'm going to learn to use this, Kai said. I'm going to be as good as he was. Better, maybe. Why? Because I want to honor him. I want to be worthy of being his son. Maggie touched his face. Baby, you're already worthy. You were worthy the moment you were born. You don't have to earn his love. You already have it, forever. Years passed. Kai grew into a man. 18, 19, 20. He worked at the livery, saved money, taught himself to shoot with his father's bow until he could hit a target at 100 yards in the dark. People still called him half-breed, still looked at him sideways. But he stood tall, never apologized, never bowed. One day, a woman came to town, Apache woman. Old, wrapped in a blanket, walking with a cane. She went door to door asking for someone, asking for Maggie Brennan. When she reached their house, Maggie opened the door and gasped, Nakita. The old woman smiled. You remember. Good. I think maybe you forget, old woman. Never. How are you? You're alive. You survived. Barely. Reservation is hard place, but I am too stubborn to die. Nakita looked past Maggie, saw Kai standing in the doorway. Her eyes filled with tears. That is him, Tahan's son. Yes. Kai, come here. This is your grandmother. Kai approached slowly, unsure. Nakita reached up, touched his face with shaking hands. You have his eyes, and his spirit. I feel it. She spoke in Apache, then words Kai didn't understand, but felt anyway. What did she say? He asked Maggie. She said, Maggie's voice broke. She said your father would be proud, that you are exactly the man he hoped you'd become. Nakita stayed for 3 days, told stories, taught Kai more Apache words, gave him a medicine bag that had belonged to Tahan. You keep this. It protect him. Now it protect you. On the 3rd day, she said, there are others, Apache people, scattered, some on reservation, some hiding in mountains. They need leader, someone young, someone strong, someone who walk in both worlds. You think that's Kai? Maggie asked. I think spirits work in strange ways. Tahan died so his son could live. Maybe his son lived to finish his father's work. Maybe bridge between worlds is not just dream. Maybe it is destiny. That night, Kai asked Maggie, what do you think? Should I try to find them, the Apache people? That's not my decision. That's yours. But what do you want? Maggie looked at her son, 20 years old, strong, brave. So much like Tahan, it hurt to look at him sometimes. I want you to be happy. I want you to be safe. I want you to live a life that matters. She paused. But I also know you can't do any of those things by pretending to be something you're not. You're Apache and white. You're your father's son, and mine. And if you need to find your people to understand who you are, then go. Find them. I'll be here when you come back. And if I don't come back, then I'll know you found where you belong. And that's enough. Kai left 2 weeks later, took his father's bow, his father's medicine bag, the eagle pendant Maggie pressed into his hand. This was your father's, and mine. Now it's yours. It means you're never alone. Even when you think you are. He kissed her forehead. I love you, Mama. Everything I am, everything good in me comes from you and him. Both of you. I know, baby. I know. She watched him right away. Kiana stood beside her, both of them crying. He come back? Kiana asked. I don't know, but I hope so. 2 years passed. No word, no letters, nothing. Maggie tried not to worry. Failed every night. Lay awake wondering if her son was alive, if he'd found his people, if he'd found himself. Then one day, a rider came. Not Kai. A young Apache man, maybe 17. You are Maggie Brennan, wife of Tahan? I was. Yes. I have message. From your son. He say to tell you I found them. I found us. And I am home. Maggie's knees went weak with relief. Is he well? He is leader now. Of small band, 20 people. They live in mountains, safe, free. He teach them English. They teach him Apache ways. He is bridge, just like his father dreamed. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. The young man nodded. He also say he love you. He thank you for everything, for giving him life, for telling him truth, for making him strong enough to choose his own path. After the messenger left, Maggie sat on the porch with Kiana. The sun was setting, painting the desert gold and red. The same colors it had been that day 30 years ago, when her old life ended and her new life began. You did good, Maggie, Kiana said softly. You raise him right. He is good man. We both raised him, you and me and my mother, all of us together. But you give him most important thing. You give him truth. You never lie about who he is, who his father was. That is gift worth more than gold. Maggie touched the empty place where the eagle pendant used to hang. It was with Kai now, where it belonged. You think Tahan knows, she asked, wherever he is. You think he knows what his son became? I think he always knew, from beginning. That is why he die, not to kill soldiers, but to give son chance at life, at choice, at freedom. Kiana smiled. He die so Kai could live, and Kai live well. That is best revenge, best victory, best love. Maggie died 10 years later, peacefully, in her sleep. Kiana was holding her hand. Her last words were, tell Kai, tell him his father's waiting for me. Tell him we're proud. They buried her beside her mother. At the funeral, a man appeared. Tall, dark-haired, gray-eyed. Kai Tahan Brennan. He came with 20 others. Apache people. His people. He stood at his mother's grave and spoke in 2 languages, English and Apache. Told everyone gathered there about the woman who'd lost everything and built something new from the ashes. The woman who'd loved an Apache warrior and refused to be ashamed. The woman who'd raised a son to be proud of both his heritages. She taught me that love is stronger than hate, Kai said. That courage isn't about being fearless. It's about being afraid and choosing to love anyway. She taught me that the past doesn't define you. Your choices do. And she taught me that family isn't just blood. It's who you choose, who chooses you back. He placed the eagle pendant on her grave. My father gave this to her 31 years ago. Told her they were bound, forever, heart to heart, soul to soul. And now they're together again. Finally. The way they always should have been. The Apache people sang a death song. Low and haunting and beautiful. It echoed across the desert, carrying Maggie's spirit home. Years later, people would tell stories about Maggie Brennan, the white woman who'd married an Apache chief, the mother who'd raised a son to bridge two worlds, the woman who'd turned blood money into principle and poverty into dignity. Some called her a traitor. Others called her a saint. Most just called her strange. But the Apache, the ones who remembered, they called her something else. Ishkin Nade. Bridge woman. The one who connected two worlds. The one who refused to let hatred win. And her son Kai lived to be 63 years old. He became a translator, a negotiator, a leader. He married an Apache woman and had 4 children, taught them both languages, both cultures, told them stories about their grandfather Tahan, who'd stood against an army, and their grandmother Maggie, who'd stood against a whole society. He never let them forget where they came from, never let them be ashamed. And when he died, they buried him with his father's bow and his mother's eagle pendant, facing east, toward the sunrise, toward hope. Because that's what he was, what they all were. Hope born from tragedy, love born from war, a future born from 2 people who'd seen each other across an impossible divide and chosen again and again to cross it. That was the legacy, not just of Tahan and Maggie, but of every person who'd ever looked at someone different and chosen love over fear, connection over division, courage over comfort. The eagle pendant was passed down through generations. Kai's children, their children's children, each one learning the story, each one carrying forward the truth that love, real, fierce, uncompromising love, was the only thing that ever truly survived. And in the desert wind that blew through the canyons, if you listened carefully, you could still hear them. Tahan's voice, Maggie's voice, whispered promises carried on the wind, again and again and again. Until love took root where hatred had burned, until hope grew where despair had ruled, until 2 souls separated by death were finally reunited in the only place that mattered, in the hearts of those who remembered their story and chose to live it forward. That was the real ending. Not death, not loss, but love that refused to die, memory that refused to fade, hope that refused to surrender. And that was worth everything they'd sacrificed, everything they'd lost, everything they'd fought for, because in the end, love won. It always won. Not because it was easy, but because people like Tahan and Maggie and Kai chose it. Again and again and again. Until choosing love became the only way forward. Until it became the legacy that would outlive them all.